Well, first of all, you know, I was born and raised in Mill Valley by two Jewish parents. We're very culturally Jewish, but we did all these experimental things in the 70s. Like, my father started this thing, Temple Without Walls on Mount Tam. We'd all go to Mount Tam and have a service outside.
That's good.
But, you know, I was bat mitzvahed, but, you know, I think I was always, I think I just wrestled with what that meant to be Jewish, and then I met my husband. When you first introduced me and you said a perfect marriage, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going to use Ken in the intro.
Well, that too.
But I met Ken, who was kind of my first serious Jewish relationship. And he's a nice Jewish boy from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, like one of the only Jews there. So we also a blonde, blue-eyed Jew. So we had a lot of discussions about what it meant to be Jewish, and just internally, we would kind of go to temples, but didn't really feel like we belonged. But we really had a lot of conversations about it. And then when we first met, we went to Europe, and then we went on this really romantic trip, and we also went to Auschwitz, which was really heavy, and we both lost family there. And it was just a very long conversation that we had. And then out of the blue, in I think it was like 2003 or 4, I got invited. Steven Spielberg and the Bronfman Foundation decided to invite 40 young Jewish leaders who had nothing to do with their Jewishness to Utah. Again, Utah's played this really important role for a weekend, and with no agenda. And I was so skeptical. I'm like, it's a Jewish leadership thing. They want something from me, and I'm not engaged, and they're going to make me feel guilty. And
that works.
I didn't want to go, but a good friend of mine, Douglas Rushkoff, who's a writer, invited me, and I thought, well. So I went there, and it was just amazing. All these kind of people in film and writers and media, and everyone just kind of exploded in conversation about what it meant to be Jewish. No one belonged to a temple there. No, everyone was kind of outside of the traditional Jewish world. And I was so blown away. Like, all these people just needed this setting that we were put away at this resort in Utah. It was so surreal. And that same weekend, the creator of Barbie died, Ruth Handler. And I had seen this great show. It was the Two Jewish show at the original Jewish museum in the city. And I remember learning that Barbie was created by a Jew. I thought, that's one of the great ironies of the 20th century.
Right.
A Jew created the ultimate shiksa. Like, that is so fantastic. Right. So I thought...
With those feet, we can't stand.
Right. So the creator of Barbie dies, and I'm at this weekend having this really profound encounter kind of experience. And in none of the obituaries did it mention that she was Jewish. And I'm like, they buried the lead. That's the most compelling part. And I had just finished Life Liberty in this social action kit, and I thought, if I can replicate this experience I'm having in Utah and make a kit and make a film that just is a trigger for discussion, this discussion I'm having, and so I got incredible support by a lot of funders in San Francisco here, Sissy Swig and a lot of the Golden Foundation, a lot of wonderful people came on board. I said, I want to do this film about Barbie, and it's going to explore Jews. And they're like, okay, you do that. No.
You'll feel better tomorrow.
And really, Ken and I co-wrote it, my husband Ken, and it was really us boiling down our conversations about being Jewish into 15 minutes. And we both, and one of the things I fell in love with him for is we have a similar sense of humor. So the film tried to use humor to kind of crack open this very complicated subject.
Let's, before we talk any further, take a look at the tribe.
Okay. And it has like conversation cards and a guide. We called it Guide from the Perplexed, based on Maimonides' Guide to the Perplexed. So we're like kind of really trying to break down what, you know, we're trying to start a conversation about what does it mean to be Jewish in the 21st century. And what's been really exciting to us is that, you know, it went beyond just Jews that enjoyed it. We just got an email, my co-producer Carlton, they're going to show it, they want to show it at a Jewish Muslim Interfaith Film Festival next week.
Wow.
And you know, professors, it was ordered on the U.S. Naval Academy.
So the kit is being used.
Oh my goodness, we're in our 4th year, and
to spark discussion.
Yeah, professors and pastors and rabbis, and it's definitely really blown my mind, the variety of different places that it has been used.
Now tell me about Reboot, and I know Reboot is ongoing and still having these discussions, and how has that evolved over the years?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, obviously it really changed, you know, so I did Life, Liberty, and the Tribe, and then really kind of realized that's all I wanted to do was, you know, this kind of film and action conversation kits, and started the Moxie Institute and Reboot.
Wait, you read that at the Moxie Institute.
Right, which is basically, the Moxie Institute is an organization we formed based on Life, Liberty, and the Tribe, as an organization that makes media combined with new media and old media with live settings to provoke discussion about the issues of the 21st century, whether it's religion, politics, science. And in Reboot has really evolved. There's a lot of projects that have spawned from that weekend. I mean, it's been amazing to watch how much it influenced people. I mean, all the people they invited, they were so smart, are all kind of people that want to make things. So everyone went off from that conversation and made various things. So.
Is Next Book a result of Reboot?
No, not Next Book, but Guilt and Pleasure, which is a
magazine,
a journal. There's a show at the Jewish Museum called Jews and Vinyl.
Right.
All that archival kind of Jewish bagels and bongos music. It's a great show.
So there isn't as much of an answer as there is a continuing conversation.
Yeah. I think it was all about, you know, we end the Tribe with every generation asks old questions in new ways. And you know, Ken and I still don't belong to a temple. We celebrate Shabbat, which is with Odessa our favorite night of the week, but we're not, you know, I think the way it changes that I don't feel like such an outsider anymore, I think. Because all Jews feel like outsiders. I think most people feel like outsiders if you really get down to it. But it's been a really interesting journey with the film, and we've traveled all over with it, and it's been really interesting.
Well, you mentioned the smashing of the glass at the wedding ceremony, which of course is a custom that most of us, even if we know nothing else about being Jewish, we know that.
Right.
And in fact, at the opening of the Contemporary Jewish Museum, we're not going to show a clip of this, but describe the installation that you and Ken did there.
Yeah, we did this art installation where we have this huge, massive screen. I got this great image of this glass breaking in slow motion. It's one of those really mesmerizing. And you put on the headphones and you have to make a vow, whatever vow you're going to make to yourself, whatever. You put on the headphones, and Ken built this kind of robotic plate. He's a professor of robotics. Built this robotic plate, so you step on, you put the microphone on, you make a vow, and you step on it, and it activates this smashing of the glass, and we put all this different music on, which people, is really funny, because people would be like, did you know what my vow was? You know, in their mind, they didn't know. They thought we were tapped into their brain. But it's showing in 2 weeks in New York at the Pulse Art Fair, so
So you're going with it?
Ken's going, I'm kind of staying.
I think that's wise.
Yeah.
At this point,
you know,
yeah.